Welcome back to the Warcraft news. So, it felt like a kind of quiet week on the WoW front after last week's 10.1 reveal, but turns out the data miners and testers have been very hard at work to bring you this week's honestly fairly incredible revelations, and there is so much going on. Starting with the patch that's coming in just a few days. And today's sponsor. Okay, you know phishing attacks. That's where scammers try to dupe you into compromising your security by using a fake email and devious stuff like that. Well, NordVPN threat protection can recognize malicious links and warn you before anything goes wrong, stopping that in its tracks. Plus, so much more. And at nordvpn.com/Bellular Gaming, you will find 4 months for free, plus a bonus gift with my creator link. Just click the link in the description down below. Now, Nord is so handy, lets you browse the web, of course, as if you're anywhere in the world, which helps you do a lot. I regularly use it to access region-restricted content. There's also the likes of regional price gouging with rental cars, which, as Tom Scott proved, you can actually get around with Nord, which is pretty damn awesome. Of course, they'll keep you safe from other threats, like a lot of phishing, man-in-the-middle attacks, which is basically people making a fake Wi-Fi network to try to pwn you, and much more. I mean, hell, their dark web monitor is just brilliant. You essentially just add your email to it, and they will alert you if your login credentials for any of your sites have appeared in a data breach. So you're not going to be compromised. There's much more too, like NordPass, which makes passwords mega secure, convenient, and just easy. Of course, all in the app and browser extension that are super easy for you to use. And you can get the exclusive offer at nordvpn.com/Bellular Gaming with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Next reset, it will be 10.0.7, and that means a ton of new content. We've got the Forbidden Reach opening up, revealing a ton of quests and world content to get stuck into, which of course does include the new Zskera Vaults, which are a puzzle-based sort of solo dungeon thing, which is where you will get your Onyx Amulet, a super powerful catch-up ring, and of course, the long-awaited Retribution Paladin rework. Though, why am I explaining when Blizzard actually went and did it for us? They posted a pretty awesome infographic going over almost everything that's actually coming out in this patch and what's coming in 10.1 as well, just to make sure that people don't get confused. It's a pretty long-ass list of stuff. The most important, of course, will be the Reach and its content, but also the catch-up. You may want to prep a new class for 10.1 based on how insane some of the tier sets look. Of course, the Human and Orc Heritage Armor quests and the new Furball Grep grind are also nice little bits of content. We're eating pretty damn good. Also coming next week, to nobody's surprise, is another Twitch drop. The Disco toy is actually a new toy, the Dancer's Integrated Sonic Celebration Oscillator. Just, you get it for watching a total of 4 eligible hours of Warcraft content on Twitch between March 21st, which is patch day, and April 2nd. That gives you about 2 weeks, so it should be pretty easy. And I guess we kind of just now expect free toys for AFKing on Twitch every patch, which is fine, I guess. Next, if you have not got Curve, or if your Mythic guild is lagging behind a little bit in getting cutting edge, then now really is your chance, because we've got another huge wave of nerfs coming in for Raszageth. On Heroic and Mythic, she does basically a ton less damage, and her shield is smaller. On Mythic, even more damage was reduced, and the charges no longer root, they only snare instead. There's actually over 1,000 guilds who are currently progressing on her on Mythic, which is, well, it's a lot more than usual, with only around 420 kills. This, I suppose, kind of then is Blizzard throwing those stragglers a bone to actually get her down, and then, of course, get some downtime of their own in time for 10.1 to come out, so we can start the whole process all over again. I do have to wonder, though, if the balancing of the new gear upgrade system in 10.1 will end up with a situation where we just get progressive nerfing over time as people continually upgrade their gear. Hard to say, I guess. Anyhow, there's also some Mythic Plus nerfs as well. These are basically aiming to let more people get Keystone Master or Hero, right, just to get over the line, I suppose. The Zskera Vaults has had an extra 90 seconds on the timer, and Azure Blade takes an extra 10 seconds to get into that dreadful intermission. In not good, the Tempest group-wide damage has actually been nerfed by 20%, and the Orb buff that you pick up has an extra 2 seconds on it. Healers should find, well, really a much easier time with that one. Same then with the Ruby life pools as well. Blazehoof's Fire Dot has been nerfed by a pretty chunky 35%. Oh, and this guy's Shockwave is now a lot easier to see. And that does make me think, you know, getting these sort of nerfs, is this Blizzard trying to bring these dungeons in line with what they're targeting for 10.1? I cannot exactly say so, but do remember that in 10.1 they plan to tune down or prune some of the mechanics from the other 4 Dragonflight dungeons, because I think pretty evidently the likes of Ruby life pools, they just see them as being a little bit overtuned and too much. Okay, patch 10.1. First things first with the campaign, don't worry, no spoilers here. The campaign has been testable for a few days now on the PTR, which honestly is kind of unfortunate. We'd all prefer it was just a surprise for patch day. But that said, what we have learned is things are pretty good. If you're one of the many people, I'd say, upset by Rathian and Sibelian's story just coming to a very sudden halt after the Waking Shores, or if you've perhaps been wondering about what another certain related character maybe thinks about this whole shebang, then this certainly will be your patch. Embers of Neltharion, unsurprisingly, is full of black dragons doing black dragon things, as we of course dig into as well the Sundered Flame, who are those kind of breakaway rebel Drakthir. Now, some players are showing a bit of concern about how a certain character acts and is being developed, so hopefully this being tested on PTR is going to be used to Blizzard's advantage, and then maybe some dialogue can be tweaked to improve it. Obviously, it's the kind of thing, you know, they can't really change what direction the story is going in, but you really would be amazed at how, like, changing just a few sentences can actually make a tremendous difference to how something feels. Anyway, it's time to go and show you the best stuff in 10.1 so far, the pretty gorgeous items. Our peers around the world rejoice, Scarlet Crusade gear is here. Last week, some Scarlet plate icons were found, and this week, well, the actual models are there too. Now, between these and some 10.0.7 data mining, it very much looks like the trading post may get a full Scarlet ensemble pretty damn soon. This, along with the Ret Paladin rework, is certainly going to ensure a specific kind of player will have their wildest dreams come true. There's also these ceremonial Pantera items. It's basically got the color scheme of the Druid set from Nighthold, but beyond that, we've got no clue what they're there for. If you've got any ideas, of course, let us know. It looks pretty damn great regardless. And that ain't all, because there's also a dragon riding ensemble, there's the Drakthir armor, but in like item form so you can wear it, and with each color, and they also added in models for the troll and light forged swords that we spotted icons for. Oh, and also, just like the Tusks of Manaroth, we may have a new rare as hell set of shoulders to pick up from Neltharion himself, who is the penultimate boss. Maybe even his helmet too. So, pretty damn good stuff. But there are 2 new things that we want to pick out specifically for you. We've been theorizing, right, about a world revamp coming pretty soon. There'll be a video with all of the evidence later, and really the evidence is getting pretty damn large at this stage. So take a look at this Dwarf Guard. This is the Ironforge Guard armor, but brand new and looking absolutely gorgeous. Combine this then with the Dwarven tank that was spotted, and either dwarves are going to be getting some, I don't know, sick new content somehow with Ironforge, or Blizzard have just stopped trying to hide Azeroth's in-progress makeover. I mean, it's literally not confirmed. I'm kind of just bullshitting, but hey, what are these assets for? Also, are you tired of not having mail sets that look simple and clean, and maybe like chainmail? Well, no more, because there are 5 whole colors for this set. Since all of this, of course, is from early data mining, we literally have no context. Maybe this is something you just buy from a vendor. Maybe it's a reward from new content. Maybe it is, of course, something to be eaten up by the hungry trading post in the future. Who knows? Who knows? Of course, when we get to the whole world revamp thing, don't worry. We're going to talk about that. Could be some sort of big thing, or maybe slightly more realistically, some new racial starting zones. Who knows? Well, we may or may not have found some clues. But anyway, let's move on. Well, Blizzard said this wasn't going to happen, but no. Seems to have actually slipped through the cracks. While 10.0.7 is getting human and orc hair colors, 10.1 may try to be tidying up some allied races. The Dark Iron and the Nightborn are getting updates, with the dwarves actually getting some new skin tones and hair colors, and then the elves getting some new eye glows and, again, some new hair colors. So this is not huge, but absolutely, well, Rome wasn't built in a day. We always want to see more of this, so pretty good stuff. Next then, dungeon lengths. Okay, back to gameplay. Time to find out 10.1's dungeon timers, because they have actually been data mined. And unfortunately, it's not great news because they are long. The shortest one is Vortex Pinnacle at a 30-minute timer. Uldaman is the longest at a rather gargantuan 40. On average, we are actually a few minutes longer per dungeon, so hopefully this is Blizzard maybe seeing feedback and pulling some health numbers down a little bit, because I think nothing sucks harder than, putting the guts of an hour into a dungeon, including, of course, grouping and travel time, only to deplete the key and get very, very, very little for the time you've spent. That being said, with the new crest and flight stone system, that actually, upgrades and stuff, maybe not, like, perfectly winning your dungeon will still feel okay because you get a crest. Maybe. Up next then, we have each of the class set bonuses announced, and as always, yeah, there's a little bit of a mixed opinion. Overall, they are a lot more impactful than Season 1's mostly passive bonuses. Now, the Blizzard have, of course, actually seen how their new classes are working out in the wild. Some are fantastic, like the Blood DK getting a strength buff they get to extend if they're prepared, and yes, some are seen as being a bit meh. To do one example, the Boomkins are getting a mostly passive damage increase to their dots. But with a lot of time to test, we should get some good iteration on these things. And speaking of testing, let's talk about the new content. So testing has actually already started for Mythic Plus and for the Raid, which is kind of wild. The schedule for Raid goes regularly all the way up to April 21st and will actually once again exclude the final boss. This is something people are a bit divided on because, well, I mean, it's a thing, so of course people are divided on it. It's weird, right? Personally, I do really enjoy the surprise on launch day of seeing what the final boss gets. Like, I think that does make it more exciting. But then again, obviously, for the people who are playing, very competitively, basically like, maybe the top 20 guilds in the world, yeah, when they have a bunch of bugs and annoyance, it really does pollute the integrity of the race for them. So that it ends up being a strange situation of like, yeah, the race is important enough, actually, plenty of people do watch it, it should be good quality, but it does come at the expense of things being a big surprise, which does kind of suck. Anyway, Blizzard are clearly going for the surprise here. Let's hope it's because they're more confident about their QA, but given what Mike Ybarra said, who the hell knows about that? Now, for Mythic Plus, this weekend is actually the first of a few waves of testing, but only one's been announced so far, so you can actually hop onto the PTR to give the new dungeons a try, though Vortex Pinnacle is not yet ready. With testing a bit earlier then, I think, well, we can maybe hope that these dungeons, as Ian said, will actually end up being a little bit less brutal on us than Season 1's set of dungeons. And maybe we'll get to see some new affixes since, of course, we found that out in the interview that I did with Ian. But so far, there is obviously no seasonal one, but the level 7 ones, they are getting refreshed instead. So I actually really do look forward to seeing how that's going to be. Okay, next then, some other interesting things, because that's mostly it for strictly the WoW news, but there are some other tidbits to wrap up on. So, we've got 2 new ex-Blizzard Entertainment studios. J. Allen Brack, John Donham, and Jen O'Neill have set up a group called Magic Soup Games, promising to basically take what they learned at Activision and Blizzard to make massive AAA games that have positive themes. Something that doesn't fit neatly into any existing game genre today. That's like a bio from them. All while they remain gritty, hungry, and humble. So the new CEO is Jen. Jen ran production at Vicarious Visions for most of her 20 years at Activision. And of course, if you remember how sort of decently excited we were when she joined Blizzard as a co-leader, it's because she actually does have a great track record. So I suppose it should be the same here. Again, it's a shame that Blizzard treated her so poorly that she quit in protest. Of course, you know J. Allen Brack, so I can skip that part. The relevant thing is that he talked in an interview about how having time away from Blizzard, basically seeing what the rest of the industry was getting up to, ignited a creative fire in him again. So apparently, him and Jen's #1 game ended up being mostly the same, so they basically just decided, screw it, we'll just do the studio together. As for Donham, he's a bit less known. He was the chief of staff at Blizzard for about a year, but has actually mostly spent his career as the CEO of TuneIn and the GM of Prime Gaming and game growth at Amazon. So, we'll have to see what will happen there. But to be honest, it's going to be a bloody long time before you see anything from them. We haven't even seen anything from the Dreamhaven bunch yet, which of course is hardly a surprise given games take a while. And to end for today, for those who do things such as pre-order Diablo 4, you can actually play this weekend the beta. But it's not just pre-ordering, because you can get the Double Down Burger at KFC to get your beta access, because we truly do live in hell. I am, though, quite interested in the game, to be honest, basically the art style, the vibes, it being quite a lot darker than Diablo 3. That all does appeal to me quite a bit. The combat looks pretty damn fun. So, yeah, I don't play games like PoE, but Diablo 3, for me, I had fun when I played it. I'm expecting kind of similar. So, yeah, I'll be playing a bit of that over the weekend. Anyway, that is it for the news. Of course, thank you for watching. There'll be so much content on the channel over the next little while. Now that the Pale Beyond is out, I can actually focus on things again. And, man, yeah, we really have big plans, loads of lore. We're getting ahead of ourselves in production, and really just trying to get back to basics, do shit well, and build here to be a better place to work for the team, which I'd say is right now my #1 priority. Okay, have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you next time.